I love horror movies. It's like relaxing to me. I had never like been here. I've never been a skier or like outdoorsy winter person. I started making like patches and pins, like with pop culture, like Twin Peaks things and like X-Files things. Before we moved here, I worked at Minecraft or Mojang Studios as a product designer.
What is your opinion about AI?
I mean, I love AI. I think it's like the best thing ever, but it's also like we don't own anything that comes out of AI. So it's like scary to think that, you know, all the info we put in, they're using.
Hi.
Today we're chatting with Jennifer. What we know about her so far is that she loves Twin Peaks. She's an illustrator, she works at Mojang, and she is renovating a cabin in Duvet at the moment. We can't wait to hear more about her story and to get to know her together with you.
We heard through the grapevine that you like scary things.
Yeah, it's true.
Can you elaborate a bit on that?
Well, I've always been like in love with horror stories and like ghost stories and stuff. I remember when I was a kid, the only books I would like borrow at the library were the scary books. And my mom, she hates anything scary, and I forced her to like read all the scary books to me because I was like I couldn't read yet. So since then, I've been like obsessed with like folk tales and horror and just like horror movies and stuff. And I just like when I relax, I watch a horror movie and you know.
Do you remember what age that was and what the first book was?
First book was like Swedish folk tales or horror spooky stories by Dan Höjer or something. I read it like 100 times. It was like this. Just like folk tales, but Skansen in Stockholm, there was like a special one where there was like a gnome living in a house, and you can like see it. So every time we went to Skansen, I was like, we have to go and visit the gnome.
So you read it 100 times?
Yeah, probably.
Wow.
So you liked scary stuff. For me, it was the opposite. So I'm just imagining what gets you to like scary stuff. But I guess what gets you to like non-scary stuff. It's just how you're wired.
Yeah.
Fun though. Wow. Yeah. Okay, so scary books, scary movies then
scary
as well?
Movies, absolutely.
Everything's scary.
Yeah, I love horror movies. It's like relaxing to me. I just like put it on, watch one.
Really?
My boyfriend hates it. So whenever he's out of town or like I'm at like my work during my work week, I always watch like horror movies. And I also always rent like a small cabin or in my own cabin. It's pretty small, like pretty close to the woods, and sit there and watch movies or just.
And you never
relax.
get scared?
No, not really. The only time I got scared was when I heard like walking in the woods and like I hear like noises and I'm scared like that there's a bear around. But otherwise,
But no zombies or
no
scary
zombies.
other thing.
No, I know how to handle a zombie. And we have several axes, so it's fine.
That's awesome. Yeah.
That's so funny. And did you ever do anything with that in your later life, as in your career? Did you become like an actor or something?
No, but I write like horror. I've always like written scary like short stories for myself. So now I've like started writing a short story or short like stories like horror themed. That's like more Jämtland or like Swedish folk tales inspired. So I'm writing that like as a fun thing to do. And
can you explain a bit what that is, Swedish folktales? Because all the listeners would probably know.
There's so much, like in Sweden, or I guess in the Nordic Scandinavia, there's so many weird folktales, and like there's one called like Nicken, the naked man who sits in the river, and he plays music or on his violin and lures people in and like drowns them, and like there's all sorts of weird things. There's a skogsrå, which is like a lady who looks super gorgeous like from the front, but then she turns around and she's a tree, and she would like lure hunters and people into the woods and like
Is there usually a life lesson behind these stories, or it's just random? And
I think there probably is some sort of life lesson that you shouldn't follow a pretty lady in the woods. I think that's a good lesson in general.
Whoa. And are your stories that you've written, are they published anywhere, or do you want to get them published?
One day, yeah.
Okay.
But it's like I'm trying to like not do everything at once right now and just like do one thing. And maybe like next year.
How long are they? Is it like a few pages or more?
Yeah, just a few pages. Just like fun things that pops up in my mind when I'm like walking in the woods and just.
You know what I was thinking about? And I don't take this as an insult. I think it's awesome. I love like the calendars you have on the toilet that you can rip a day. You can do like a scary story a day and every morning. That would be fun.
Is there anything that's finished that you are already kind of ready with in your mind?
Sort of, but it's like I don't know, like I've never really written like anything like professional other than like copy or like copywriting. So it's like hard to like, how do you write stories? Like it's so different. You have to like kind of go into depth and like build the details and characters, and I find it so hard because I'm very like, this happened, this is this, and then I'm like, okay, but this is too short. I have to elaborate and I have to make it longer and like get the feeling in, and that's the hard part. So not yet, but hopefully soon. Yeah.
So you are this great source of scary information. So I got to pick your brain out.
Yeah.
What are your favorite TV series?
TV series. My favorite all-time TV series is Twin Peaks, the like 90s TV show.
I heard you talking about it, but I have no idea what it is.
Yeah.
It was huge.
Yeah, it was huge.
When I was younger.
Yeah.
I'm a bit older, I guess, than you. But you watched the whole series?
Yeah, I didn't see it when I was 3 when it came out. So my sister and my mom watched this when I was a kid. But the only recollection I had was that there was like some kind of tree house. That was my like vision of it. A tree house and like red drapes. But there was like log cabins, obviously. There weren't tree houses.
What is it about, the series?
It's like a murder mystery about who killed Laura Palmer, this small town homecoming queen, and she's super popular, and then she dies, and it's like a mystery around that. But it's also like super weird and surreal, and like David Lynch, who directed it, it's just weird.
But like a Tim Burton of
you could say that. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, I should maybe watch it then.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it used to be the biggest hit when it came out, and we were at that time you could just watch one episode each week, so there wasn't like binge watching yet, so you had to wait for the next one. I was ready for the TV, and I guess most of my generation were like super ready to watch the next episode.
How old were you when it came out?
I wasn't that old either. I mean, I was in my teens, so I think it was kind of for me on the right spot as well. So I was kind of excited. I was allowed by my parents, so yeah, that was interesting. That was really cool.
So lucky.
So lucky.
I wish I could seen it.
Okay, so that's an older one. Is there a modern one that you really like?
God, there's so many. I don't know. Like I watch a lot of like TV just in general. I watch like either it's some kind of Succession-ish drama, which is like my favorite, like American Horror Stories, which is more like small horror stories and stuff.
But more like, for example, Walking Dead. Is that scary enough, or is it not? Is it too much zombie-ish?
I'm not into I don't know, like zombies. It's I'm a bit bored with zombies.
Okay, so no zombies.
Yeah, I don't know. I watch a lot of like reality TV. I'm obsessed with the Housewives. So like it's either horror or Housewives or like Hallmark movies.
But then besides Twin Peaks, I'm still looking for, I want to watch something scary.
Yeah.
Because now I'm intrigued.
X-Files, have you seen that?
No.
That's also like 90s classic.
But something new from this day.
Something new. I think American Horror Story is like the best thing I've seen so far.
American Horror Story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Channel Zero is like also small, like it's four series, and it's like a creepypasta for each series, and that was really good. But it got cancelled a couple of years ago. now there's a new one called Tales from the Void, which I haven't seen that yet, but I'm excited. It's I think it's something right up my alley. But I also like Sabrina, like the Chilling Tales of Sabrina, the Netflix series that came out a couple of years ago. Because I was like, I watched the Sabrina Teenage Witch when I was.
I did see that.
Yeah, but this is like the new one, and it's a bit more scary, and I don't know, I love it.
But the X-Files, that's more about like aliens.
Exactly, and weird things.
Weird things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
it's not necessarily horror in a way.
No, it can be anything, definitely. Yeah. As long as it's a bit like fun. I don't know.
Is that something you're also looking up in your life? Like going to, I don't know, let's say truth tellers or people who are into dark magic or whatever?
No, I wish.
You wish? Yeah.
No, I've never been to like a psychic or anything. I would love to. Our neighbor girl, who's our dog walker, she just got like tarot cards, and I was like, "Can you please tell my fortune?" But I would love to like go to a psychic or like find somebody with like, witch powers and stuff. I always wanted to be a witch, obviously, when I was a kid. I had like the witch's handbook, and it was mostly like herbal remedies and stuff, but
nice.
No luck.
No luck.
That's very cool, though. I like that these days what's becoming more and more popular again is just the wildcraft and people making medicines from just going through the forest and that it's making its way back. And in some way it's so logical, because why do we need all these pills from the pharmacy when we can, well, it's a bit short-sighted, but walk into the forest and pick things that help us.
It's pretty cool.
The forests, nature. Yeah.
So now you're living in Duvet, you said. How did you get here? What was the way to move there?
Yeah, we started thinking about moving here in 2017. I had never been here. I've never been a skier or like outdoorsy winter person. But me and my boyfriend or fiance, we went here in the summer of 2017, and we were just gonna small hikes in Ullådalen and just check out Åre. And I was like, this is amazing. Why don't we live here? And he was like, I always wanted to move here. And we started making plans to move here. And then we were like, okay, 2020, that's the year we're going to move here. And he got a job in 2019. So he moved up early in the end of 2019. And I came just after 2020, in January there.
And was it a scary decision, or was it very easy?
It was just a happy, fun decision. We just wanted a change from Stockholm, where we lived. We wanted to we were thinking about maybe Åre or maybe Canada or like somewhere else, but we were like, okay, we need to get like visas and stuff, and that's boring and hard. Yeah. So we were like, okay, let's try Åre. And we were like, okay, we can always move back if we don't feel like it. But instantly felt like home, and we met people, met friends. It was like a perfect place. And then when COVID came, it was like nice and quiet. And then it wasn't. Yeah, it was nice.
And I read that you're renovating a house.
Yeah, exactly. So
that's a big mission.
Yeah. So we bought a cabin in 2020 in like April, just when like COVID hit and everybody was like selling and we're panicked. We were like, okay, perfect time to buy a house. So we bought our little cabin, and it's just super small. But it turns out it was like rotten. Kind of the foundation parts was kind of not great. So we have been renovating this summer, just like digging out dirt. It was like dirt up to the floors. So we had to like dig that out. And we had our, I guess, logman contractor, Isaac. He came in and just redid the whole foundation and just like made it super nice. We just got the floors in yesterday, so now we can soon move in, which is
and where
great.
Is it? Where is the house?
It's just in Duvet. It's on Paradisvägen, so it's above E14.
Oh,
so,
yeah,
close to the lifts.
We were just in that area recently, and we absolutely fell in love with it. Yeah, there's so way more there than I thought. I thought it was just a few holiday cabins, but the road just keeps going.
No, it's so nice, and we walk our dog like up and down every day, and it's just like super nice. Everybody knows each other. Everybody helps each other out, and it's like a super cozy place. basically.
And you can literally say that you live on Paradise Road.
Yeah, exactly. Number 1.
Number 1,
Ooh.
That's the first house then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
Wow.
yeah, it's great.
And then, so you're renovating it from scratch, I guess. Did you have to kind of remove everything? Or?
Yeah, we removed everything. We removed like it was like filled with old installation from like the 50s. We found like the receipts from like when they bought it at Coop in like Östersund or something. And it was just like filled with mouse poo. It was disgusting. It was just like we wore like coveralls and masks and just like put them all in bags and just like try not to get sick, basically.
So now you have a wooden structure.
Yeah, it was wooden, and now we have like wooden. Everything is like a good insulation with like wood fiber, and we have like foam glass in the foundation, which is like insulating as well. So no plastic or any bad stuff. No like foam spray, which the previous owner just like sprayed into the corners. We were like, thank you.
We renovated a American school bus at some point into a driving hotel, and we used sheep wool in the walls.
Yeah, it's perfect.
And it was so much fun to work with because it was just soft and nice.
Exactly. And you don't get like itchy or anything.
Don't get itchy. And our dog used to lay on the insulation that still had to be put in the wall because he liked it so much.
Nice.
Yeah, it was really good stuff.
I was surprised. I never heard of it before. I only think about the chemical stuff.
Exactly.
Such a nice product.
Yeah, it's nice too.
And do you have any experience renovating, or are you using YouTube, or what's your?
No. Yeah, we just like we have our contractor who's like doing the majority of like the hard work, which is great. But we've been like doing as much as we can, like digging out the dirt, digging in the insulation, just like trying to do as many things as we can. But it's like it's very much like, okay, what are we gonna do? And I'm like, we should do this. And Henrik is like, no. And then after a week, he's like, okay.
And it's a very cold climate here, so I can imagine there's things that you have to think about that normal people, I mean, like people down south who renovate a house maybe don't have to think about. Do you have an example, or like?
Yeah, insulation is great. We didn't have any or like we thought we had some. It was like very light on everything, but it was just like nothing. So it was just the worst possible scenario. So I don't know, like just make sure you have lots of insulation. We had like rugs all over the floors, basically, that kind of kept in the warmth, but it was so cold, and just like had the fire going basically all of like last year's winter when it was like minus 30 degrees. But like
you were living in it at the same time.
Yeah. We lived there for 4 years before doing any renovations. So we were like, this is kind of cold, but you know, it's a cabin.
You learn to live with it, I guess.
Yeah.
Nice.
No, but it's.
And so did you do anything creative in there? Because I feel like you might be a creative mind as well.
I mean, we're planning on doing a lot of things, but it's like we're just starting the inside now. So lots of like built-ins. I want to do like a niche for the bed and like do some paintings on the walls and like allmoge style, which is like classic, or like kurbits. Do you know what that is? It's like like flowery paintings, basically, that you can. It's like classic Swedish or classic Dalarna, I guess more.
I think you've seen it, like what they do in the wooden cupboards and stuff,
exactly.
Like the Swedish flowers.
Yeah. You can do that yourself then, or you're hoping to.
I'll try.
That's a good mindset.
Yeah,
just going for it.
I just paint it over and pretend it didn't happen.
Wow, that's a really cool plan.
Is there anything you do professionally, like creative-wise?
I'm an illustrator in like my core, I guess. I started doing like digital illustrations in, I think, 2011, and started like making cute small illustrations, childish ones. And I always wanted to try illustration, but I was like really bad at it, drawing by hand. But then when I started doing it on the computer, I was like, oh, I can do this, because it was like easier somehow. So I started doing that in 2011, and I started making like patches and pins, like with pop culture, like Twin Peaks things and like X-Files things and Buffy the Vampire Slayer and stuff like that. And started making those and selling those on Etsy. So I sold that, or I had that company for about 8 years.
Was that working?
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah,
it was so fun. It was like, I was at that time, it was like not like too common to do like fan merch. So I was pretty alone with that on like the Swedish market. And I had some like friends in the US who were doing like the same thing, but it was like kind of alone on it. So it was great.
Because I met some people who would love to turn their hobby of drawing or something creative into their work. And then I talked with them about maybe putting on Etsy, but they're always very hesitant. Oh, is it actually going to work? And is it worth the effort? Yeah. But your answer is yes.
Yeah, always. It. Yeah, just do it. No, but I had never heard about Etsy. This was like in early 2012 when I heard about it for the first time. And I was like, okay, I'll try it. Like, I don't know what this is. I had postcards, maybe a poster, and started selling it. And then people asked, and I was like, okay, I can do this and this and this, and just kind of snowballed into lots and lots of stuff.
Wow, that's a beautiful journey.
Fun.
So you did custom designs then, or
some
everything?
Custom designs, but mostly just like things like shows or podcasts that I liked, and I made some like fan thing and just like sold it, and people who were fans too bought it, and it was just like a fun community thing. Yeah.
Nice. You remember the first sale that you made?
Yeah, absolutely. It was actually the person who recommended Etsy to me. So I had made this Twin Peaks poster that was kind of like a baby-ish style, or I thought it was like cutesy kid-ish style. And I like posted it on a site called Dribble, like UI, UX design more today. But at that time, you could post like illustrations as well. And somebody found it online, and this guy named Trent, we're still friends today, which is fun. And he was like, I have a kid coming in spring. Can I buy this as a poster? And I was like, okay, sure. So I like went to a printer, printed one poster, like rolled it up, sent it to him, and he still has it on his kid's wall. And his kid is like 13, 14 now or something.
Nice.
I don't know. Yeah. Or 12. He posted 12. Yeah.
Did you make more of those posters, or was it
Yeah. So I made that into a postcard and posters and sold those.
Nice.
And your Etsy store is still online?
It's like on vacation now, but maybe one day I'll open it up again.
It sounds like I want to go visit it. It was a fun thing,
yeah. But it was like hard with all the postage and stuff like that, and I was like, ugh. So at the like high point, I had like it was a good run, but I always had a job on the side, or I had a full-time job, so it was always like a part-time thing. And just became too much. Like the only thing I did was pack orders and like be stressed.
Yeah, so you're a part-time post office and part-time illustrator. Yeah. And you were using an iPad to draw, or? Yeah,
now I do. Yeah, at the time I was using like a Wacom like pen on the computer. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah,
it's cool to hear. Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice. Fun.
And that art can become digital, and then suddenly you can sell it. It's just this whole new world that opens in those few years.
Yeah, with like print on demand and stuff, it's so easy. You can just like make a design, like go into like Printful and like make a shirt and then sell it. So it's so easy now.
Mm-hmm.
And then, if I'm correct, you also do something with web design or SEOs?
Yeah, exactly. So like I went to school for like marketing, digital marketing. I was like, okay, I wanted to do like digital illustration or design, but then I was like, okay, maybe I should try to go to school. So I went to school for digital marketing and like SEO, UX design and stuff like that. And then I got into like the SEO world, search engine optimization. And it's kind of like the opposite of design, which is nice because then I can like be creative, and then I can be super like strict in that sense. And so I worked within that for a while. And then when we moved here, I started my own company, making like web design or web designing and digital marketing and stuff like that for small companies, helping people in Åre and all around.
Mm.
Yeah.
How is that these days? Because I feel like you can almost make your own website, or it's cheaper to go to India, let's say, or another country.
Absolutely.
You still find enough assignments, jobs?
Yeah, and now I don't. Now I have a full-time job. So now I'm at Mojang Studios, which is a knife company. So I'm like a marketing strategist there. But I mean, it's I think I was like at this sweet spot when I had the company, because people were still willing to pay money for a website. But now it's so much easier. Like just like the last year, and with AI, it's like you don't even have to hire copy, which is kind of scary. But it's the future, I guess.
But I noticed that making a website, you told it to yourself, but I think a lot of people, even though AI and stuff exists, it's still hard. Like, where do you begin?
Yeah, but I mean, it used to be only coding, like basically writing, and now there's so much on the front
it's
end.
Like drag and drop. Yeah.
So if you're a bit creative,
but I've seen you being frustrated with the whole drag and drop. It looks very easy, but then once you're in it, and you want something specific, which you often want.
Yeah.
Then I don't know.
Yeah, but that's when you're a perfectionist, then it can become hard. Yeah, that's sure. But I mean, a basic website is not that hard these days anymore.
And why? So with SEOs, search engine optimization, that was the word. Ooh, yeah, I would think, I don't know much about it, but I would think that that's something very easy to find. I make a website and I think, okay, what are the important words?
Yeah.
Okay, but I think it's more than that, because if you're specialized in it, there must be something to it. Can you explain like what that means? Or
it's like, it's like you say, like you have to find the words that people actually search for. So it's like a bit of understanding people as well. Like if you are buying a TV, are you just writing in TV, or are you buying a Samsung TV, or do you want to buy like a LED screen? So you have to kind of figure out where people are in the journey. So if you're like in the early journey, you might just write in TV. But if you're like, then you do some research, and then you find like, okay, I want to buy a Samsung, and then you write Samsung TV, and then you buy like going to like the more specific, which is like Samsung LED TV, and then you go to purchase TV. So it's like you have to kind of understand the journey of how people think, basically.
Yeah, so the brain behind what they want.
Exactly. So it's just like understanding people. Like, what do you think? But it's now it's, I guess it's easier with AI and stuff. But it's also, you still have to kind of create copy that is both like a human readable, but also like searchable. So it's like a fine. Sometimes you have to like use words that might not be like super natural. So you have to kind of redo everything to fit Google, basically.
I always wondered how close can you get to the Google algorithm? And if there are any specific tips that you might be able to give us.
Yeah. I think you probably can. Like the Google algorithm updates like 200 times a year, something. So it's kind of hard to keep track of everything. You can, of course, like read the big updates. Like Google has all the documentation on their website, which is great. So you can always like kind of figure out what to do and what not to do. But I like to kind of just have a foundational like mindset within everything. So like make sure you are using the correct keywords for the things you want to rank for, or if you're selling products, or if you're writing a blog post or something. Make sure to use the correct keywords, and then also like make sure to have, and when you write the text, it has to be like both for a person, but also for Google. So you have to kind of mesh those things together a bit, which can be hard if you're like, some people are either super like they write like copy and it's just like flowing out of them, and the SEO part is really hard. And I'm the opposite. I just like write SEO copy, which can be a bit more stiff. So I have to kind of like add in humanness into it. But like, so great copy, always make sure to have like the meta title, and make sure you have the keywords in there. There's so many like small things to think about.
So if you write a text, you have to make sure that all the words that need to be picked up by Google are in that text. That's exactly. Kind of the main focus of everything.
And it depends also how long the text is, how short the text is. It depends on the keyword and how much competitive or competitors you have in that area. So it can be either sometimes you just have to write 500 words, but on other things like in the US or if you're trying to rank like in the US or for an English keyword, say you have to like write 4,000 words or something. So it's hard to kind of figure that out.
What do you mean? So in the US, you need to have a bigger text?
Yeah, because there's so much more competitiveness or competitors. So you might write, like in my job, we write guides about like outdoor knives. And we in the Swedish text, we can write like 1,500 words. But in the US, if we want to rank in the US, we have to write like 5,000 words because it's so much more competitive, and we have to be super specific and have like a really good in-depth guide that's more like evergreen content rather than just like selling a knife.
What is evergreen content?
Evergreen is like more, let's say you're searching for like knives is all I think about because I work with it. But you're like buying kitchen knives and you're like, okay, I want to buy a kitchen knife, but which one should I buy? And then you come to the site and it's like, this is a kitchen knife. This is the types of kitchen knives you can buy. And it takes you through like an extensive like guide basically, or just like it's not bound to any time frame or any like product or like any season basically. So you can use it forever basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so the knives that you get, apparently it's a famous Swedish knife brand.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And they're also sold in America.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a big brand.
Yeah, we sell it's global, which is really cool. So it's been around for 130 years, Mojang. So it's like really fun to work with because it's like there's so much potential. We have a good, like we sell a lot of knives everywhere, but there's still so many people who don't know about the brand, and everything is made in Sweden, which is really cool. So in Mora, which is in Dalarna, in like further down from here, everything is made. That's really cool.
And what makes a knife different than other knives?
It's better, it's sharper, it's better quality, it's long lasting. Like the sharpness is like good for a really good or long time. So, and just like it's when you have a Mora-kniv in your hand, you're like, this is a good knife basically.
I want to try one now.
Yeah.
It's funny that we don't even know about it yet.
No, but we're not. Yeah, we're still learning every day about Swedish culture.
Yeah,
there's these little things we need to pick up on. So.
Yeah, no, but it's a classic brand.
It's almost Christmas.
Yeah. Exactly.
You already have so many knives, but that might be nice.
Yeah.
Or Victor cut. Maybe this is posted after Christmas. I'm just realizing. I don't know. It's before Christmas. I'm gonna say this again. I'm gonna say something.
I'll send you some knives, and you can unbox them for Christmas.
That would be good.
I just wanted to say, Tim, any moment is a good time to give me a Mora-kniv. Just a hint there.
Yeah.
That's the catchphrase.
Okay, maybe a bit more about the company. Is it grown from a family or something, I guess?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so in Mora, like they've been making knives. It's a weird thing because they've been making knives in Mora for like 400 years. For some reason, like that became like the knife capital of Sweden. And so the family Eriksson that owns Mora-kniv have been making knives in Mora for like 130 years, or the company has been making knives for 130 years. So it's really cool, and like it's such a long history. And I think like in Sweden, there's like you don't usually say kniv, you say like Mora-kniv, because it's like that's like in the vocabulary.
So a knife is a Mora-kniv.
Exactly. Yeah. Nice. Even though it's not a Mora-kniv. So.
Yeah. And is it like generational? Does it continue?
Yeah. So one of the owners still works at the company, which is fun. So it's nice to just like talk to him about history, and he's always like passionate about like, oh, we have to build a museum, we have to do this. So it's cool to just like it's like a real like Swedish, or rather like history. The history is like there basically.
And is it still expanding the company?
Yeah. So it's as I said, like we're trying to reach out to more countries and stuff, and we do a lot of like marketing. I work as a marketing strategist, so I do a lot of things on the websites and on the e-commerce side, and a lot of on the social media, and like work with influencers and try to get collaborations going and stuff.
And is it more directed towards outdoor knives or indoor knives, or both the same?
We both have. We have kitchen knives as well. So, and we just launched our kitchen knife series. So relaunched it this fall. So we have like really nice kitchen knives. We have like steak knives, which are really pretty, super sharp. I cut myself the other day. And we have the outdoor knives as well. So it's like both kitchen, outdoor, and then we have like the craft knives, which is like for like contractors and stuff, building people.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are you like the average Swede that I can describe as, if you go out in nature, you bring pans and pots and knives and you cook yourself a whole feast?
Yeah,
are you a bit like that?
I'm not. I wish that I were more, but I always have a knife on me. Like not today, not now, but most of the time there's always a knife around. And I guess I always bring something, like not super much into the outdoor cooking, but mostly because I'm like super, like I pack my lunch and I bring it out, and I have my thermos and my...
So the fika moments, the thermos and...
Yeah, you can't go outside without fika. That's the only reason.
Do you go outside a lot? What's your...
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like super winter outdoorsy. We do like ski touring. It's my thing, rather than like going like
on the slopes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. They call it in the system in Sweden, which I always find a weird way to say it.
So yeah, ski touring I think is great, and it's fun to. My dog is like great for that. He just pulls you, and you're like just like chilling. So a lot of that, and then like when summer, I love to just walk, or I guess hike. But I think like hike is like more like intensive. I just like walk in the woods basically, up the mountain, up Mullfjället and down, and walk around. Try not to get eaten by bears.
Have you seen a bear?
No, I haven't. But there's a Duved's björnen, Duved's bear that walks in the. I don't know. Everybody says that. Oh, you know this, Victor. Every year, apparently, there's a bear that comes over, either like swims over or something, and walks around the Elljusspåren, or like the Mongostigen. So like, that where the
cross-country track of Duved.
Exactly. Yeah. So apparently, there's like a bear there.
Have you seen it, Victor?
No, I think that's one of Jenny's scary stories.
You've seen the paw print, right?
Yes.
Yeah. That scared me.
Seen the what?
Paw prints from a bear.
The paw. You've seen the paw?
No,
Victor.
I had one shore, the shoreline just beside my house.
Yeah.
There was a bear 2 years ago.
Terrifying.
Never told you.
But it's so funny that you love scary stuff. But then the idea of a bear...
No, I'm terrified. Plus my dog would... She's like, I guess she is like a bear. She's a Gąsie Polski, which is like a Polish hound, I guess. And she is like a bear hound, I think. So there was a hunter or some person who was like out with his dog, Gąsie Polski, and he got attacked by a bear. And the dog actually went in between the bear and the owner.
And the human.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, I think she can protect me, but I'm also like scared that she will be eaten.
Because nobody here wears bear spray.
No, I don't even know if that's a thing in Sweden, though.
Yeah, which I think is funny because, everybody says you will never see a bear here. They are here, but they are scared of people. So far, no bad things happened, I think, kind of.
I hope so.
But still, we don't use bear spray. We don't do bells around our wrists, or we don't
I'm
do
gonna
anything.
start doing like a bell, I think, next year.
So we hear you coming from miles away.
Yeah.
There's Jenny.
All over.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think in general, it's not been any accidents, right? Or,
no, I don't think so. No.
Oh, we talked with Frederick about it at some point. Remember that story?
Yeah.
Frederick was on a few episodes ago. He once said that there was a guy who skied into a bear hole by accident.
I've heard that.
And we asked, like, was the guy okay? And he was like, yeah, he got chewed on a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I don't know if we call that okay.
Terrifying.
Yeah, so do not ski in a bear hole.
Yeah, exactly.
Otherwise, you'll be just fine.
Don't ski, don't go in the woods.
No.
Yeah. Totally different subject. But what I think these days, very interesting, AI.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of touched on it with SEO. And do we still need people like what you do? And what can AI do? What is your opinion about AI?
I mean, I love AI. I think it's like the best thing ever. But it's also, I'm now employed, which is better. Because I think if I had my own business still, or still doing just freelance, it would be terrifying because there's like, you can just cut out so much of your work all of a sudden. But I use it mostly to like come up with ideas. Like if I'm like strapped for ideas, I'm like, okay, what should we do on this and this? Or like, how should I structure this rather than just like get text or like, so I don't really use it as like, I don't know, content, but I use it for like brainstorming or just like making the workflow faster, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just make life easier, more efficient.
Yeah.
And what is your view on what a lot of people are struggling with? By the way, I love AI as well. But, but I just hear things around me like it uses a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Have you thought about that or?
No, not like in electricity wise and stuff. No, I have absolutely not thought about that actually.
Yeah, they have to now reopen a power plant. Can you call that?
Because
in
people
America
are using AI so much.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then I started asking ChatGPT what is being done about that. And ChatGPT said, all these blah, blah, blah. We're working on this and we're making it more efficient. And I guess they are, but not at a fast enough speed.
Yeah.
And then it said that, for example, what you could do is use lighter versions when you can.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't use a pro version of ChatGPT, but I don't know if you do.
Yeah.
And that we can be more efficient with our questions that we ask.
Yeah, with our prompts in general. Yeah.
Yeah. And today I was using ChatGPT this morning and I was asking a lot of questions and I thought to myself, oh yeah, Val, maybe this is not so smart. Maybe put everything you want to ask in one question because it's more efficient. Yeah. So maybe that's something we can do.
That's interesting. Yeah, I have not thought about that.
Yeah. With a lot of things, I don't think we should eliminate it because it is efficient. And personally, I think it will be for the greater good it can be for the greater bad as well, but I think it will help us to find solutions to problems faster.
Exactly.
That's my belief.
I think it will help, or for me, it helped me become more like efficient and not like if I'm starting a big project, I'm like, okay, where should I start? And then I can just ask ChatGPT, like, where should I start? And they're like, okay, you can do this. And then I get started. I think that's like, for me, that's become like easier to just become like starting wise effective.
Is there a policy in your company at all? I'm wondering.
Not yet. We don't use. I like to say we don't use like AI generated just off the bat basically. I think that it's important that you keep the human aspect in all content basically. But it's also very easy to say that now, and then in a couple of years, it's like it's the norm to always just have all the copy or everything AI generated. We don't use any like AI generated photos or anything. I think that's because it's so bad.
Yeah, but they might get there sooner.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and it depends. Some stuff is really good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So where do we draw that line?
Yeah.
How do we know if something is real or not, and is real needed?
Exactly.
And now when we have a 9-year-old, she's learning to write and stuff at school, right? Yeah. But that's also where I'm wondering, like, what do they still have to learn at school? Yeah. What is important now that will last them for the rest of their lives? Yeah. Because these day-to-day subjects that they learn are becoming less and less needed, whereas they have to learn how to deal with AI, how to use prompts and be ahead of the, how do you say it? It's a future, the curve. Yeah.
But you still need your basic skills like reading, writing, understanding sentences and everything to be able to understand.
Imagine in like 30 years, suddenly AI has a day like AI does not work today. And everybody's like,
No, but when ChatGPT is down, you're like, okay, what am I going to do now? Now I have to think.
It's the same with internet now. If internet is down.
No, it's terrifying.
It's weird.
Definitely.
I cannot live without Google anymore.
No.
I love Google. Just
but it's also terrifying because not like we don't own anything that comes out of AI. So it's like scary to think that, all the info we put in, they're using. And all the info we're getting, or whenever people are using like AI generated content on their website, they don't own that at all. That's like ChatGPT or.
But for now, how can that be proven?
I don't know. Yeah.
That's my question. Like, is that a way that, you can't really know where it comes from yet? Can you?
I heard that they're going to tag AI generated content, or that they are in the process. Maybe it's already happening. I'm not sure.
And you have to tag it on like Instagram and stuff.
We have to tag it.
Yeah, I mean in the back as well.
Because so far I Googled it recently and they said it can't be traced yet. So when will that happen?
But there was a big debate about that. But
the robots don't want you to know.
No.
They don't tell you.
They don't tell us what they're doing.
That's also a good point.
Scary.
They're smart. Yeah, you just saw that.
Robots scare me though.
You just showed me a new robot. What was it called?
I forgot the name.
Unity?
It costs €16,000 or dollar or something, and the robot is insanely good. And it has an AI generated head voice and everything, so it has a mind, and you can train it. And it's very strange to see it in action.
Yeah.
So we're getting closer and closer to becoming like a thing that would live with us, I guess, like be around us all the time. Like
no, robots I draw the line at robots. Far? That's scary. I think it's like it's the uncanny valley when something is like human-ish, but it's not human, and you can tell. I saw like a photo on Instagram, and it was like this. I think it was like mini cabins or something, and they had AI generated lots of photos, and everything was like, and you couldn't barely tell it was AI, but you could when you saw the people's eyes. Because have you ever tried to AI generate people, and their like pupils are like weird, and I was like, something's wrong with these people, and it was like, okay, it's AI, because you could tell it, and that's like, I think it's so scary.
Yeah, but it's going to become better as well.
Yeah, of course.
And imagine that we have a robot that is basically our new smartphone. Yeah. Right? It's just next to us all the time. It does everything.
It can do the dishes.
Yeah. Do the dishes, clean your house. I don't know, things that you just don't like doing.
Yeah.
If that's there all the time, I think you will take the good with the bad.
Yeah.
And you're just like, well, my life is easier now.
Yeah.
And you can ask all these questions.
No, it's called Threadwife.
Yeah, you have your own personal Threadwife robot. Ooh, yeah, and it's going to be tempting, and now you can draw that line. Yeah. But when it's there and it becomes a new normal and everybody has one, are you going to be like, no, I'm not going to have a robot? I don't think I'm going to be strong enough. You might be. I don't know.
Yeah.
But you kind of like change, but you're also maybe a bit more protective than I am.
I like change, but it needs to be in the flow of life and not too far ahead, let's say.
I don't want to have a third child, but I can add a robot. Yeah, what do you think it's going to do for our mental health, all this AI stuff? And
I hope, like, I try to be positive about this, but I think for me, it's like made it easier to just like work and not work. I don't know, like because it helps me get started faster. It's like I don't really have to think about like the how and the why. I can just like start. So I hope that it's going to be better, but I don't know. Like it depends on where you draw the line. I mostly use ChatGPT for like boring work stuff when I have to like, order things or like, structure things for myself. But I barely use it like in my day-to-day. I used it once for like planning which days to take off from holiday, basically, or like which food should I, or like make a meal planning list. But I barely use it for like my like home life. So I don't know, like, but hopefully it's like it takes away all the boring, mundane things that you don't like need to waste time on.
I guess it's a tool like anything, and you can use it
exactly
the closest to you as a person. I heard somebody took a picture of their fridge and just asked, "What can I make with this?"
Wow,
because that's also possible apparently these days.
Yeah, but then we link our mental health to things that we need. So that's AI or a phone, or whereas I feel that more and more we try to step away from that to find peace in our minds and balance, because it's also overwhelming and so many inputs. And is there anything you do specifically to get your head chill?
I try to. No, I do my best. I'm always on my phone. I feel like I play a lot of Tetris, and that's like relaxing to me. I just like sit there and like play Tetris. I read. Like, I'm not the best reader. Like I try to read more, but I have like times when I do it a lot, and then I like out of that time. Now I'm trying to get into it again, but it's like hard when you like, okay, should I not be on my phone? Should I not watch this series? And I should read a book. It's like, I don't know, it's like weird when you're not in that headspace. So I try to read a lot and like, or focus on that. Go on walks with my dog, not wear headphones when I'm out walking. I think that's like, for me, the best thing. I lost my AirPods. Don't tell my boyfriend.
Oh, he's gonna know now.
Oops. No, so I don't have any headphones when I walk outside anywhere, which is great because now I just like listen to nature, like walk around, talk to myself in the woods. Relax.
But that's so nice, right? You kind of forget the sound of nature, because we always have something in, or listening to somebody, or I'm calling, or and it's quite cool. We have a lot of cool birds out there.
My friend is like she loves birds, so I'm always like, okay, which bird is this? She's like, oh, that's this bird, and
You do actually have an app for that.
Yeah, but I've chosen not to get the app because I want to like send her things and like, which is
see, there you go, another app. So it's all over.
It's good advice, I would say.
I don't know.
To like sometimes go out without anything and just enjoy what's there.
Yeah, I forget my phone all the time, so that's perfect. It's really nice.
Is there anything outside of skiing and stuff that you do still?
Like in the wintertime, or like in
general?
I do. Well, I try to go to the gym.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, like go to the gym, walk a lot, hang out in I feel like I walk in the woods every day. So I just like have my little thing or like route that I walk. I think for me that's like the best thing every day. When I like walk there and like it's a hectic day of work and I have a lunch walk with my dog, I'm like, oh, life's good. And that's like the most relaxing time of the day.
When you moved here, was it easy for you to find a community or a space where you felt like you belonged? Or?
Yeah, thankfully, my boyfriend, he is super like social, which is great. And he was working for the kommunen, like what is it, municipal? Yeah. And he also worked extra as like a waiter. So he met a lot of people that way, and we got a lot of friends that way. So we have friends, which is great. I think we have like more friends here than we had in Stockholm, and we've lived there like our entire lives. Or like we have more people that we hang out with here than we have in Stockholm. So it's like nice, and it's like I don't know, when here it's like just like nice people. So that's really good.
Yes, because some people who are interested in moving here are not really into skiing or snowboarding. They wonder if they would be happy here. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think so, absolutely. I mean, I'm not super outdoorsy. Like you can find if you don't like, for me it was more like accepting that I'm not the most outdoorsy sporty person. I won't like do a ski touring up the mountain, up and down twice a week. Like I'll do like a chill Sunday walk or something like that. And then you can find people who also like that, or you can just like hang out for fika or go grab a lunch.
Yeah, so there are all kinds of people here. It's not just
exactly. Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's more people than you understand. And not everybody's like into super skiing, basically.
Is there anything on your bucket list
that I want to do? I want to walk like Jämtlandstriangeln and like Silarna and do more hiking. My friend and I were thinking about walking like the PCT, Pacific Crest Trail, in like 4 years, something like that.
That's a bit harder than the Jämtland Triangle,
exactly.
I would say.
So we're like, and she's like a outdoorsy person, so that's great. So we're gonna start like working out or like walking and hiking together a bit.
For people who don't know what the PCT trail is, it's from Mexico to Canada.
Yeah, exactly.
It's around, I think, 4,500 kilometers.
Yeah, it's so long. But I think we're just going to walk the northern part because her friend had just done like the Oregon to Canada part. And we were like, that's great. No desert for us.
Okay.
Yeah, the desert is heavy.
I don't, it's too warm.
That and a lot of wild animals. And you have to bring your own water and food and bears.
Mm-hmm.
Can be anything, although I would think there are bears in Oregon as well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It seems like you have some American friends as well. How did that happen?
Yeah, I mean, mostly for my company or the Patches and Pins. Yeah, Twin Peaks people.
Twin Peaks people.
Yeah. So I still it's a weird story, but when I started making the Patches and Pins and stuff, it just kind of happened that US were like bigger in that like need, or there were more people in the US who liked Twin Peaks, and I became friends with people and we just like started chit-chatting. So now two of my friends who bought the diner in the Twin Peaks diner, they bought that diner and they now own it.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So I've been selling my stuff there for like, I don't know, since 2013 when the previous owners had it, the original owners, and now they own it. So it's like fun thing. So we're always like, come here. And like,
I wanted to ask, have you visited them already?
Yeah,
you did.
Yeah, we did in 2017 or 2018. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, for my 30th birthday, I went there and it was amazing.
Nice.
I'm just gonna reset. Sorry.
But so the northern part of the PC trail is quite long still, or not? How many kilometers are you talking about?
Yeah, that's a good question. I really don't know. I think my friend Sarah has better.
Okay. And you want to do the whole thing? That's the plan?
Yeah, that's the plan. Yeah.
Okay. It's quite a big challenge, right?
Yeah, I think so. But also like, we walk every day. Like we walk up. I mean, it's not, if I lived in Stockholm, I think it would be a bigger challenge. But here it's like I walk up a mountain basically a few days a week, and like the core like is there. You just have to get like more into like doing it for a longer period of time, basically.
We walked the pilgrimage to Santiago de Compostela.
Nice.
With our dog and 20-kilo backpacks back in the days.
Yeah.
And I think it's mostly a mental thing.
Yeah.
To have to always keep going every day.
Exactly.
Like you never really take a break. You just keep going. But also the heaviness of a backpack makes such a big difference.
Yeah. Like gotta work out and get.
But I saw a video the other day of a guy that is doing the PCT trail, the whole thing from bottom to top, with a 10-kilo backpack. So I don't know how he's doing it, but you can probably find him on Google. He has a huge account.
Nice.
And he just has one set of clothes. And I think one t-shirt and shorts for when his clothes have to be in the laundry.
Nice.
Yeah, but you can make it super, super lightweight. It was that book Wild. Have you read that? It's
absolutely.
Yeah, the movie. It's also a movie.
Yeah.
And I love in that book or in a movie where her backpack is way too heavy. And then she meets these people at one of the first stops and they're like, yeah, your toothbrush can be in 2. You only need 1 condom. You don't need a whole box. Like, all these little things. But it is literally the little things that make the difference. And when you do the pilgrimage in Spain, you can start with that one. It's closer to home.
Yeah, perfect.
We highly recommend it for sure. Then at the start or somewhere along the trail, you can always send luggage to the end. So the stuff that you don't need anymore, you just send ahead.
That's smart.
And because when you did it the first time, I think you also started way too heavy.
Yeah, I think my backpack was around maybe 23 kilos or something.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Way too much.
Yeah.
So I shipped 7-8 kilo.
Okay. Yeah.
But I had that even here with the triangle. That I was packing all these things on the bed, putting everything ready. And then Tim was like, Val, you're not going to bring all of that. And then I started packing and I felt it. And I was like, whoa, this is way too heavy. So what is really, really essential is the question. And food and water is heavy.
Yeah.
Because that's also something you need to bring there, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, because in Sweden it's so easy to just like get water from a creek.
Yeah.
You don't have to think about it. But like when you're maybe in Oregon it's like clear water, but you don't really think about it when you're outside.
But we have a good solution, and there are many solutions, but we have these bottles now. It's called Live Straw. And there's just a filter in it. So you just fill it up and then it filters while you're drinking.
Ooh.
And it's 99.99999. Like it's really, really good.
Nice.
So that makes life easier.
Yeah. Live straw.
And when are you going to do the triangle?
Probably next summer. Yeah.
It's so good. I've done it twice now.
Oh, nice.
And I absolutely love it.
Yeah, we've been like, we were planning on doing this summer, but then we were just renovating and we were like, okay, no vacation, just working. This summer definitely.
So for people who don't know what the triangle is, it starts in Sturevan, which is 40 minutes from Åre to the west.
Yeah.
And then you do a 3-day hike in the shape of a triangle.
Exactly.
And you can choose if you sleep in a tent, which is what I did, because I like it because then you can put your tent anywhere you like, or you can sleep in a hut and you usually bring your own food, but you can also eat in the hut. And that's it. You just hike and see a lot of reindeer.
Yeah. It's perfect.
Yeah.
I did it this summer as well, but in my own way. And I discovered there's actually a square in Volodalen.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard of that.
No.
So there's a triangle and there's a square as well.
Nice.
The square, it feels like is way less known.
Okay, cool.
So if you want to...
In Volodalen?
Yeah, you start in Volodalen and it's more to the east, but it's apparently really nice as well and really beautiful.
Okay.
And it's kind of similar distance, so it's like, what is it, 12, 13, 14 kilometers in between each hut.
Yeah.
You can do it with a tent, obviously, as well. But
I think we need to start making shapes.
Yeah.
We can do a star and a circle.
Yeah, circle.
Then make a book out of it.
Sphere.
Okay. But it also shows how much area we have in our backcountry here that is hikeable, that is wild in a way. There are some huts, but it's very wild as well.
Yeah.
I showed you that picture of a guy on Strava, I think it was. When every time he went for a run, he made a letter of the alphabet.
Oh, nice.
So he made every letter of the alphabet. So there you go. Got ourselves a new hobby.
How we should do it.
Yeah, the whole combination of your life, I find super interesting. It is like art and it is renovating and it is computer. It's a bit of balance of, creativity. And then I think if computer takes over too much of our world, I don't think that's healthy because then we're literally just staring into a screen these days. So I always find it nice how people find their offline life, find something they like to do, but also online, and how those worlds can be combined in a nice way. Do you have any advice for people who are searching for the balance?
I wish it was better because I'm not perfect in any way. I have a screen in my face all the time. It feels like, but when we're renovating or like in the cabin fixing things, like I was scraping old paint yesterday. I'm just like standing there. But it was so nice just to do something that wasn't a screen. And as soon as I just like step away for it for like 30 minutes, it's just like I forget about that screen and like the constant like I need to watch this, I need to keep scrolling. Just like it's hard to get out of it, but just like stop. I don't know. It's hard to like.
Yeah, it's addictive little thing. It is.
Yeah, definitely.
Scrolling, death scroll, as I say.
Yeah, exactly. I've been. Then you have like I have a friend who's an eco psychologist. She has like a hut, like a sauna hut thing in. I think she's in Alsen now, so more towards Krokom. And she was like really. We were talking about like okay, energy in the year and stuff, and it sounds like really like spiritual. I don't know, like freaky. Or woo-woo-y. And she was like, oh, but in the wintertime, it's okay to just like relax. And then in summer, when you have more like light and energy, you can do that. So I was like, okay, that's great. So I'm just trying to not like do too much. Like I'll do 1 or 2 things a day. Like that's it. Like I won't do more. Like I might go to the gym one day, and then I might scrape some paint the other day. And, like rather like do one thing than like try to push like everything in, and rather like eat like noodles and scrape some paint than having to do like a full meal, things like that. I don't cook, but
keep it basic.
Yeah, keep it basic. Just keep it simple. And like I think we always have to do so much, and we have to do this. We have to make dinner. We have to do our laundry. We have to do all these things, and I'm like, I don't know. If I do one thing a day, that's perfect.
Nice. Well, that's very good advice, I would say.
Yeah, I think so too. If we make a big to-do list, then it suddenly becomes so overwhelming.
Yeah.
What I then tend to do, I try to not do it at the moment, but then I think in my head, okay, I need to do that. Let's not just not do anything.
Yeah.
And then grab my phone or something because it becomes so overwhelming that I don't know where to start, and I freak out, and So these days I do the same. I think like, okay, one thing I can do today.
And then it often snowballs into like the second thing, and you're like, oh, this was fun. I'll keep on doing it.
And it's really rewarding because once you've done it, you feel like you've done something useful.
Absolutely.
And I feel happier overall.
Yeah.
And we're growing up. Look at that.
Yeah. No, but it's so easy to fall into like that productivity. Like you have to do everything. You have to be super like productive. I'm like, oh, I can't. I'm too old for that now. Just want to relax. Be happy.
Is there anything we haven't touched on that you would like to share, or?
I don't think so. I don't know.
I was just wondering. Is there a part that we skipped from your, let's say, interests in life or things that you do?
So,
okay.
Anything?
You worked at Minecraft?
Yeah.
Oh, what?
That's a good one.
Our son right now would be like,
that's why. Okay.
Yeah,
let's go there.
Yeah.
So you worked at Minecraft, apparently?
Yeah. So before we moved here, I worked at Minecraft or Mojang Studios as a product designer. So I made merch, like the T-shirts that all the kids are wearing.
Okay.
And like I was part of the like a lot of the books and like homeware, water bottles, all that stuff was like my area. Super fun. Just like. It's a Swedish company, it's owned by Microsoft, but
really, yes, it was originally Swedish. Minecraft.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's the core office is in Stockholm.
Really?
Yeah, super fun.
For those who don't know, Minecraft, what is it?
It's a game all about mining and crafting.
I still don't really get it. So we have a 5-year-old who absolutely loves it.
It's amazing.
I know everything is square.
Yeah.
And he shows me things or like the book, and he's like, "Mom, look at that." I'm like, nah, I just don't really get the concept.
Kids are super excited about it, right?
But it's like the best game because it's like you can do whatever you like, and you can just like hack things, you can build things, you can like craft things, you can like go on adventures, you can do so much stuff, you can farm.
So you start out of nothing and you just kind of build your own world.
Yeah, you can start out nothing, or you can do like you can go like survival, which is or hardcore, which is like you kill the monsters and stuff and have it be that thing, and you build like your fortress and stuff. Or you can have like the calm chill version, which is more like creative, and you can like build things, and you can have some pigs, and you can walk around, and you can fly and like check out like the rainforest and stuff. So
is it also a lot of fighting?
You can. Well, there is some fighting if you like. You can build your sword, and you can have like there's some like mobs, like the creeper, the green.
I heard about the creeper. There's a song about
and that
the
explodes. So you have to be careful about that. But often when you're like small, you play the creative version, and you don't get hurt. So it's like.
But adults play this as well as kids,
of course.
right?
Yeah. It's super, like, I think it's one of the, if not the biggest game, I think it's the biggest game in the world. It was at the time when I worked there, at least.
Is it not like a dream job, and why would you ever quit? Or
Yeah,
it feels
it was amazing. No, but I loved it. It was when I had been a consultant for a couple of years and worked within like SEO, and I wanted to kind of take a break and do something more like creative. And I found this job. It was like illustrator / product designer for Minecraft. And I was like, okay, I'm going to apply for this. And I did, and I got it, and it was like amazing. Just like it's a weird thing, the gaming industry, because it was like there's so there's so much money in it, and we're just like, okay, today we're gonna make t-shirts. Today we have water bottles on the schedule, and so it's like it's a weird thing.
Do you play it yourself as well?
I did at the time. I mean, I get really into when I game, like, and now I play Tetris most of the time because it's like relaxing and I like it. But it's like I get really into it. So it's like I'm into it or not. So I had to like kind of cut and like not play too much, because I was like, I remember I played an entire weekend and my hand was like this. And I was like, okay, I have to chill. So we played every Friday. We had like gaming Fridays. So after like 2-3 o'clock every Friday, we had you can either play Minecraft or a game or a board game or something like that. So
in the office, you mean?
Yeah. So we usually played Minecraft or The Sims, which was nice.
The Sims.
Yeah, I love The Sims.
I didn't grow up with games because I wasn't allowed for some reason. So that's why I don't know much about them. I know Mario Kart, and we now have the Nintendo, what's it called?
SNES, yeah, the old one.
Yeah, oh, nice.
It's back.
Yeah.
Yeah, on USB. We had it in our camper back in the days, and now we're playing it with the kids sometimes. Yeah. And that's really fun because we can do like Donkey Kong and Mario. Fun. And I started to get it. Yesterday I was playing with our little one, and I got the hang of it, and I was so proud because I have that feeling that most kids probably had when they were young. Yeah. I have that now as a 34-year-old.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Maybe I should try Minecraft one day.
Oh, it's so fun. When you can just like start doing, I like to just like go dig for, or like dig for diamonds, or like mine for diamonds.
But I looked up on the internet. Is it a smart thing to like give your 5-year-old access already to Minecraft? It feels a bit soon, or
no,
you wouldn't say?
My nephew, who's 15 now, he started playing when he was like 3 or 4 years old, and he like learned English through Minecraft. So he learned like he could say like star. He could say like these random words. I was like, how do you know?
Diamond.
Exactly. I was like, how do you know English? He's like, I play Minecraft. Okay. And so he learned like, and it was like super like good for him. And he was like really into, he still plays it as a 15-year-old and like do like different builds and stuff, and makes his own like creative things. I don't know.
I guess it's like with everything what we touched on earlier, like it's balance probably. Yeah. If they don't want to do any outdoor things anymore because they only want to be playing Minecraft, then
but I was just looking out of curiosity mentally, how soon can a kid start these kind of games like Minecraft? And if it's healthy for them or not. But if it's just an environment where you can roam around and explore and just
do whatever you like,
then it's not that bad, I would say.
No, it's not like, I think Roblox is worse then, because that's more like fighting, and you know, there's a lot of weird games. So Minecraft.
Minecraft for the win.
Yeah, always. I love it.
Are you ever thinking of returning to a gaming company at all?
I would love to. Like my dream, I have a game that I would love to make myself. So I have like an idea for it, but it's like, okay, I have to find, or like I have a friend who's a developer, and she could probably help me like develop it. So I just have to like do it. Can
we know the idea, or is it still a bit under a secret?
Is it scary?
It's a scary, it's a cutesy horror game.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Well, let's start on it. I'm curious. Yeah. Hope to see it one day.
Yeah, it will be fun.
Yeah, I think that's a very cool idea. Where can people follow you to keep track of all these fun ideas that are happening?
I guess Instagram. I don't do TikTok because I'm afraid of it.
Okay.
It's Instagram at Jenny's Prints. my old company's name. So yeah,
we'll put it in the description.
Yeah,
I personally hope your Etsy is going to come back at life at some point, because I'm very intrigued now.
I'm thinking of like doing some kind of maybe like children's clothing company with a lot of the illustrations that I have. So maybe that's like the thing I do next.
That sounds like a very cool plan. And I just want to touch on that one. Why are you scared of TikTok?
Because I don't know. I think it's just I use it for work, but I don't use it for myself because I think it's like that algorithm is too powerful.
Okay.
But do you see a difference between that and Instagram Reels much?
In the work wise, or like in like
I don't know. Algorithm wise,
I don't know. Somehow I feel like Instagram is like nicer. I feel like I don't know if it's TikTok because it's like Chinese and they own everything. It's like more possessive. I don't know, but it's like obviously it's the same thing. So it's just like I'm too old for TikTok. But I think I don't know. Might start.
That's a good question. I don't use it myself.
No, I don't know.
I put a few of our videos on there, but I like Instagram more.
Yeah.
But I always think it is these days quite similar. We're just scrolling through videos for hours.
Yeah. And it's another hole. Like it's not a time sucker. Yeah. So like if I just do Instagram for myself, that's better. Like otherwise I have to focus on that thing too.
I quite like now that Instagram tells me to stop using my phone after a while. I don't know if you have that too.
Nice. No, I don't.
I think at some point it asked, do you want the timer in the app? It was within Instagram. And I said like, yes, please. And now it tells me when I have to go to sleep.
That's nice. I should get that.
And when I do reach that point, I'm like, ooh, mental notes. I've gone too far.
Yeah.
And then the next day I kind of stay away from it. Okay. Yeah, that's the thing. You lose track of time. Yeah. You have no idea. Like even when you ask people, or I did it at school, I asked the kids when I was teaching, how much time do you think you spend on your phone? And often they think it's half an hour, but then you look in their hours when they want to show you and it's 3 hours and they have no idea. Yeah.
Terrifying.
That's dangerous for sure.
And our kids don't have smartphones yet, but I'm scared of that day because I would be a hypocrite if I would say I'm a good example. Like I do use my phone a lot. And yes, it's also our job, but still I use it too much. Yeah. So the kids have grown up with us being a lot on our phones.
Exactly.
So when they will do that, it will be very mean or hypocrite of me to say like, stop using your phone. Because mom and dad, you guys always do that. So you need to stop now, Tim.
Before it's too late.
Before it's too late.
Just like I saw somebody who had like a book case for their phone that looked like a book, and they had that instead.
Just pretending you're reading. Ooh, that's a smart one. I love reading, so that's. But they will know at some point. And I think the little ones were 2 and 6 when we were traveling to Portugal and Spain with our camper, and. I was listening to a lot of audiobooks and in the beginning they had no idea. They thought I was just there playing with them and being an amazing mom who's always present with her children, which I'm not. But suddenly Fenna was like, Mom, I know you're always listening to a book. Okay, busted. It was nice. So it's a good combination because in some way you are there, you're not hiding behind the screen or a book, but you are listening. Yeah. It was a bit weird though when it was like a really spicy book at some point and you have the scene and you're like, oh God, I don't want to be here. Weird timing. But I think to wrap it up, are we there?
I think so.
We have some rapid fire fun. Skiing or snowboarding?
Oh, skiing.
Morning person or evening person?
Morning.
Hot tub or sauna?
Sauna.
Hiking or biking?
Hiking.
That's it. That's all. Thank you so much for today.
Thank you.
Thank you for the time.
Super fun.
Yeah.
Very
it's
fun
very
to get to know you.
Your life wavy, how you say it, the flow of life.
Yeah. It feels wavy.
Yeah, it's still wavy. Yeah.
I, funny enough, just read a book that's called Every Summer After, I think.
Okay.
Is the name. It's a bit of romantic, cheesy story, but somehow it got amazing reviews and I thought, give it a go. I do love
romance.
I love romance books, so. But it was about the girl who loves scary movies and stories, and she loves to write, and she's actually writing throughout the book her own little scary stories, and she found this boy who was always watching scary movies with her. And that's what they did together for fun. And I was like, for fun? Why would you do that for fun? But there you go. That would be a good book for you. Every Summer After.
Every Summer After. Okay, I'll have to check it out.
But did you have, like, for example, Saw or whatever, Chucky or all these? Is there a level in your head where it's like, wow, this was the absolute craziest that I've seen or felt?
Yeah, I like more like psychological horror. There was lately it was like a movie called Speak No Evil, but the original
Speak No Evil.
Yeah, it was like a US remake recently that they made, but the original was like really that was dark.
Yeah.
But what is psychological horror versus horror?
Is it like The Ring, for example? Is it also or not really? Have you seen that one?
I think The Ring is more scary. I think it definitely has some psychological things. More like Hereditary or like Midsummer. Stuff like that. No,
we haven't. We're not.
I watched one of the Saw movies.
Oh yeah, no, but I don't like body horror too much. I think it's like kind of scary when you have to like poke, like cut people or
Yeah, so not necessarily body part, more like just you feeling the vibe and the
exactly like The Shining. I guess would be a perfect example.
I need to watch more of those.
Yeah.
I really don't. I haven't. I should we have a movie date?
Yeah,
we can watch a scary movie together.
I'll watch you hide.
Yeah, I will
The
be
Shining.
behind the couch.
That's like a classic of all horror movies, kind of, right?
I saw Texas Chainsaw Texas Massacre, or something.
Yeah.
Is that also not with blood and stuff?
Yeah, blood and blood.
Scream movies.
Yes, I love Scream, but those are like fun.
Yeah, that was funny. That was in high school in the cinema with like. Yeah, watching it with a date that you like.
But have you seen Us?
No.
Us? Is that a series or?
Yeah, it was
a movie. Yeah, with Jordan.
That's kind of a psychological horror movie.
Okay, maybe I'll watch that.
Jordan Peele, he's the best.
And then before I go to bed, can you still sleep when you watch this?
I can sleep, but my boyfriend can't. He's terrible. I made him watch Speak No Evil, and he was like, he had nightmares for 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
What?
I was like, sorry.
What did you think of Game of Thrones and like House of Dragons and stuff?
I mean, I love it. Yeah.
That I do like, but I can handle that part.
Yeah. No, I thought it was fun, but it was a bit too much incest.
Incest.
in the series, at least, it was like too much.
That is though history, I think, as well. Quite.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
But the White Walkers and stuff, you were fine with them?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fantasy. I mean, it's scary in the moment, absolutely, but like,
It's fun that you're not afraid of zombies and these bears.
It's the worst thing.
Yeah, but it's when things become reality.
Yeah.
That it is.
But I think it was fun because you said, like, I know how to handle a zombie.
Cut off its head. It's easy.
It's easy.
We all know that.
But sometimes you need a special kind of metal.
Exactly.
Not every knife just works for it.
So that's a new series for Mojang.
Yeah.
The
Silver knife. Oops.
That would actually be a super fun marketing campaign. You can only use a Mojang knife.
That's our Halloween campaign next year.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Well, werewolf or
Yeah, because Walking Dead I also liked. And yes, it's scary, but it's more about the story than about the scariness.
It's more heartbreaking. Like when people die and they get turned into, and you're like, okay, I couldn't watch it mostly because of that. I watched like the first couple of seasons, but then I was like too invested, and people just died, and I was like,
at some point we gave up as well. It was, I really liked The Last of Us.
Yeah, that was
incredible.
But that was, I don't know, like that. I thought that was pretty scary with the.
You thought that was scary.
Yeah, with the
fungi. How's it called again?
But I think it's also the kind of scary that you get used to at some point. Like okay, this is it's bad, but it's. I sometimes I just close my ears.
Yeah.
Because if the sound is gone, it's not scary at all. You're just like, guys, come on.
Yeah, but it's also like heartbreaking. Like they're just. I don't know if it's like the eeriness of being alone in the world too. It's like ugh.
And it's very well filmed as well. It's very well made. So
and all the little side stories were really cool.
Yeah,
I can't wait for a second season. Should come at some point.
I hope there will be a second.
I have no idea. They just released like a trailer for it. Second season.
It was right.
A trailer.
Oh,
for a second one?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Have you played the game?
No. No.
Apparently it's really good, huh?
No.
I haven't played it.
I haven't. I mean, it's based on the
game, yeah.
It might turn into reality at some point. You know, they think that fungus are going to be the new problem. So Mogul.
Yeah.
Miguel. Our new Swedish word. Somebody told us to think of moguls like in Harry Potter. So now in Mogul, but Muggle.
Muggle.
A mogul and a mosquito and combine it, and then you have a muggle.
Muggle.
But it's not.
Muggle.
Yeah, I give
Not
up.
Mogul.
But you can say muggles too. I think that's great.
Kind of the same.
Better.
Muggle.
How are you actually going to make your game?
I hope so.
But is it in your mind going to happen?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I just have to like sit down and write out the entire like story, and I have like the big story idea, and now I just have to like do the mechanics of the game basically, and then I have.
But you see a path forward in developing it. And everything. Nice.
So I just have to like do it. Take time after the renovations.
Nice.
Then it's time to get started.
A new life project.
Yeah.
I want to make a game at some point.
Yeah.
You've been saying that for 14 years.
You're doing it, so
do it.
Yeah, I'll do it.
And I want to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good at scary stuff. Dark.
Just like nails crawling over.
It's great. Yeah.
Right. Cool. Well, thank you.
you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too. Super fun.